It's time to create a profitable, scalable, and sustainable studio for yourself and your students. Welcome to Dance Studio Empire. I'm Jen, dance studio owner for 30 years, running multiple locations with over 1,000 students, dance business coach turned mastermind mentor for dance studio owners, creatives, and leaders like you. I know you're committed to growing your studio and creating the time and financial freedom you most want, while also being the best in the industry with a reputation to match. I've coached hundreds of studio owners who have grown to 250, 500, and over 1,000 students using my signature studio scaled method. And in this podcast, I'll give you the clarity, strategy, and CEO mindset to help you do the same. Let's dive in.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Dance Studio Empire podcast. This is actually the second episode of this season, and I hope that you did get to listen to last week's episode. It was all about being confident in putting up your prices and communicating that to your families and being okay with it, because it is just the reality of running a business. But I know how hard it is at the moment because there is a lot of external pressure with people who are also feeling challenged with the economy at the moment. But it is a very good listen. If you are feeling a little bit unsure or uncertain about doing it, please go back and listen. And then for today's episode, we're sort of moving into another area that I think is just as important, and some people love it, some people don't, but I think it's really important to just embrace it. And that's how we market, how we're using our message, and how we're communicating with our dance families. But not only that, it's more specifically, how can you do that to stand out? Because there is so much noise, as you know, coming at people all the time. And so this episode is just about marketing reframes that are driving retention and attraction right now. So this is what I'm seeing working with my members at the moment. And as I'm observing, because I'm always looking what's happening, what everyone's doing, and working out ways to just continue to think a little bit differently to everybody else. Because as studio owners, we're always balancing that need to maintain consistency with the challenge of standing out in a crowded space. You know this, I don't need to tell you this again. But we know that there's not really anything like super brand new when it comes to marketing. You know, often it's just about looking at familiar ideas, the things that are working, and then putting a fresh spin on them. And so my challenge for you today is to rethink and reframe how you present and communicate. And it's really just by tweaking a few things here and there that you can then set yourself apart from what every other studio is doing or creating, that then creates an impression that resonates with them. So let me go through a few ideas. So first of all, let's talk about testimonials and reviews. Now, we all know the power of social proof, the words from happy parents that validate the experience at our studio. Most of us are familiar with gathering written reviews, which people are doing a lot better now than they were even a couple of years ago. But how can you now take that a step further? So instead of just written testimonials, could you consider recording audio snippets? And now this could be as simple as grabbing your phone or a lapel mic, similar to the one I wear in my podcast, but asking parents just a few questions about their experience at your studio. Let them share why they chose your studio, you know, what their child loves about dance, and how they feel about the community that you've built. Now you can go at this however you want. Like, you could prompt them with preset questions, or you could even just go for like a casual off the cuff approach. These audio recordings are just a powerful way to bring emotion and authenticity into your marketing. And you could post them on social media. You could use the sound over a B-roll for a reel. You could load them onto your website. And just let potential families hear the voices of parents like that, like them. It's just a fresh, and it's personal, and it's a different way for them to hear reviews. Now, sure, you might see studios miking kids up, but why not let the parents also share their stories in a real and unfiltered way? Another idea is just shaking up the way you word things or what you're calling things. Now, whether it's for an event or for an offer or a promotion, sometimes a small change in how you phrase things can make all the difference. So I'll use an example that many of us use, and that's bring a friend week, right? So a great idea, and I think it is a good way to bring people in. But if everyone's calling it that, how can you make it stand out? Can you get creative with just what you're calling it, the name of it? So now if you're using my AI Dance Business tool, you can ask the content team to suggest some other creative names for you. And it might come up with things like Share the Spotlight Week or Friends in Motion, Bring a Bestie to Dance Day, Friends in Flight if you're offering aerial classes. A fresh name can make an old idea feel new again and just sort of give it that unique appeal that sparks curiosity again. So instead of it being the same as it was last term or last year, it's just, as I said, sparks that little bit of curiosity. Now, many of you are currently working on your New Year prospectus, or you're possibly working on your re-enrollment packages, and this is a prime opportunity to break away from the usual approach. So for example, instead of just emailing out your information, which many people do, could you consider creating a physical pack that you hand out to students? Now, I know some people are totally against this, and this is something that I did every year at this time. So all other communication throughout the year is digital, but for our re-enrollment packages for the new year, I would always do a physical pack. And it's because these days families are just buried in emails, so having something tangible in their hand is just a bit of a novelty. So it just helps break through the monotonous noise that they're hearing and seeing every day. And I just found for myself, it just worked because it interrupted what they were used to, and they didn't necessarily love it because they had a physical handout, but it made them stop, and that's all I want. I just wanted them to stop and read it. Now, you don't have to do a printed version if that doesn't work for you. You may have a Google site set up, or you may have a link to your website. Whatever it is, I want you then to think about how you can add a digital twist as well. Now, could you create a video version of your prospectus using Canva? So maybe just turning it into an MP4 with music. You could use animations, and you could add highlights from the year. Not only is this unexpected, but it's also memorable. It's a memorable way for parents to absorb this information. Now, again, some families are going to love it, others may not, and they just may prefer. Everyone has an opinion, as you know, but that's the beauty of just having those multiple touch points. It's about interrupting that usual routine with something that's unique, it's just a little bit different. Now we can move on to concert season. So you're probably deep into planning and prepping. So why not add something that enhances that experience for your families without breaking the bank? Now, depending how many times you've done it, you could be several years in, you could run several concerts or performances throughout the year. So how can you just make this experience that little bit different? So imagine this, as families arrive, they're just greeted with a mini red carpet experience. Now, I know last year there was a bit of a trend happening, last year and the year before, where there was red carpets on the stage, and there was that red carpet experience for the students at the end of concerts, which was really lovely. But what about if we take it a step further and have that experience for the people who are arriving at your venue? And you could have a helper, taking photos like they're the paparazzi, just making each family feel really special and celebrated. Whether that's a senior student or you've got an over enthusiastic parent who might be keen to help. I think this is a really fun approach as people are coming into the auditorium, if it's possible for you, of course. And you could just find, I'm sure you've got some some braces, and they could just wear some pants and a shirt and a hat, and just really take on the role to make it that little bit more fun. And as they're walking in, you could also have someone, standing there with their phone and asking them questions and recording their answers. You could ask them things like who they're here to see, are they excited, what are they most looking forward to, just these little touches that make the experience more memorable and just add that unexpected layer of excitement. Another idea is to capture live video footage. So you could do this backstage before the concert, you could do this during your rehearsals, you could do it in a lobby. I mean, if you're really organized, you could even do it, through class in the lead up to the concert. But then if you could get some live footage on the day, to have that turned into a reel or a video quickly and play it at intermission, or maybe there's a point where you've got quick changes in your show and you need to have the audience wait a little bit longer, you could play it there. Again, you'd probably need a senior student, or maybe you've got someone who helps it out with your social media who'd be able to do that for you in quick turnaround time. But if they were prepared and they had a song found, or they knew the sort of format they were looking at, that's something they could pre-plan and could absolutely just add that little tiny bit of change. It just gives that audience a peek behind the scenes and as the personal and engaging touch. Another idea could be to bring the kids from the audience onto the stage for like a quick demo of one of your unique offerings. So if you have time during intermission, this could work, before or after, depending on the format or how you run your concert. If you have something eye-catching or something new that you're offering, so say you've got your aerial apparatus set up because you're doing that throughout your concert, maybe it's set up, or maybe you've got a fun hip-hop routine, you could just invite the kids up onto the stage to give them a taste of what that looks like right then and there. So it's exciting, and they'd be laughing, and it's just another great way to potentially spark interest for new enrollments. Finally, I just want to emphasize the importance of innovation. Now, yes, these tweaks can change and help you stand out, but they also show your families that you've invested in making such every experience just that little bit better and a little bit more memorable. All right, I'm going to finish up today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope this has given you some practical inspiration for looking at your marketing and communication just in a fresh way that's not going to cost you money. It's not going to cost you too much time. It's just using that energy of creativity. Now, if you want to connect with me, I am over on Instagram. You can find me at _JenDalton_. I would love to connect with you more. So definitely reach out, send me a DM. If you did get something out of this episode and you are happy to share, I would love for you to share it on your Instagram and tag me in it, just to be able to share the information with people who also will benefit from this. Please remember, I am here to support you as you work towards standing out and growing your studio in ways that feel right for you. So until next time, keep challenging the status quo, and remember, you have got this.